Greetings. It is I, Albayon, and I am here to speak of the ascension, truly the ascension that is taking place on the planet. The recently, I think it was this past weekend, your Earth time, in which the United States sent planes and they bombed three different areas in Iran. If you will recall, we talked about a time, was it one week ago? No, more like 2 weeks ago, maybe three, in which Israel had bombed Iran. So there was an increase in well, not really an increase, but it was like a coming forward of the strain and stress between Iran and Israel. As we said in that other one, the head of the Iranian government at this point and the head of Israel at this point have been nefarious people, and both those countries have been controlled by the reptilians and the high people that have been behind that, the pulling the strings of everything that's been going on in the world for a very long time. And we've just spent all these years taking them out. And these are two of the last places that continue to have people in high ranking, if you want to call it that, levels that are working in the nefarious ways. Nefarious ways. I guess that's one way of saying that. So this is something that is taking place on multiple levels. Number one, I'm going to say just right up front, because this is what I have seen. I haven't seen the energy change. This is still that President Trump is here for peace. He is not here to have prolonged wars. He's not here to randomly attack countries to show his might in that way. What this was a very specific and a very intended way of showing not only Iran, but the entire world, this is what we're capable of. But he did this as a means of letting people know that if we negotiate, if we put forth an agreement between each other, and you do not uphold your end of the bargain, then we will take action. They were told, the Iranian people and the Iran, Israel, multiple of these people were in a meeting together, and as they were trying to come to a peace agreement with all of this, and they were told, you have X amount of time to dismantle and to show us proof that you have dismantled what was going on. So here's the problem. For so very long, there have been radical individuals that have just wreaked havoc around the world. They're the ones that were pushing to have their radical people invade the other countries as the illegal aliens. This has been both through Mossad and through Iran and through multiple of these different countries in the Middle East that they have been systematically taking over for the past 10 to 15 years. Which is not the first time this has been done. This is a cyclical thing that has gone on your planet, is that there has been war, competitions, different things. Who's the strongest? I'm in charge. We're going to call it this country. Okay, now I'm in charge. I'm going to call it this country. This is a cycle that has gone on again and again and again. So what you have here, what is happening right now, is truly one of the final stages of this type of warfare. Meaning that moving forward after this, you are going to see changes on so many different levels, and it will get to the point where warfare is not the answer. Most of you that are listening to this, you already know this, but it is the people that have continuously listened to the media, because the nefarious ones would use the media as a means of making people excited, making people afraid, making people believe a certain regiment is what's going on. But what you're seeing right now is the truth of what's been going on. As humanity begins to understand that this change taking place is going to lead to the earth plane being a place that does not have constant warfare, it's a massive change, not only to the consciousness that is the collective consciousness of the planet, but the consciousness of every individual. Because just looking at the patterns of the ways that things have been for the last over 100 years, probably at least 1,000 years, it's been that control and manipulation, which I know I just said that. So let's come back around here to it's just that's the overwhelming energy of what is being cleared out as we speak about this. So coming back around, what happened between the US and Iran was Iran not upholding their end of the bargain and the US saying, well, then this is how we're going to retaliate. This was specifically to take out these specific areas. This is also a way of showing them that they're not going to allow that control and manipulation to keep going. The other thing that is secondhand to that is if he is taking out these sites, so to speak, then it is also going to keep Israel from having those continuous airstrikes that go on and on and ruin both their own country, because the people that have been in charge of Israel, just as the people that have been in charge of the United States and all these other countries around the world, they don't care about their own population. They are different than what they portray themselves to be. So this is going to keep that from happening. This is going to show up exactly what's been going on with these, with the radicalized heads of these governments, and they are going to begin to come down. However, because of doing it in this manner, it will now come down in a step by step by step manner. It's going to come down in a way that allows the world to see what's been going on. And then they may turn around and say, oh, yeah, that's been going on in my country. Oh, yeah, that's been going on over here. Oh, yeah, I see that this is now. So, in other words, what we have here is the end of the end. I just heard someone say, do you mean the beginning of the end? This is not anything new, so you're well past the beginning of this. This is truly the end of the end that is coming up, that is going to play itself out. And this is not going to lead to a nuclear war worldwide. This is not going to lead to World War III and violence worldwide. This is 100% about showing the intention so that it can then be exposed to the world. So I am not concerned about this. I feel as if there is very low, if any, death toll that's associated with this. If they had wanted to stimulate a war, then they would have hit cities and places that have lots of people living there, and you would be hearing the cry of everyone that's saying, oh my gosh, look at the people that died. This was done in such a strategic way and with so much finesse that there is very little, if any, fatalities. Yes, there were some people that died that were down in these labs, but it is not the innocent people that live in these countries. Okay, moving forward, I feel like the transition that's going to take place is that of the people choosing who's going to be in charge, the people choosing to pull down the radical government that has been here. I see this 100% in Iran. That swell of people that were getting ready and have been wanting to take over the country, that's still there. That's getting bigger and bigger. And now it's going to have more of a foothold and more of a way to say, well, this is what we're getting rid of. And so that feels very, very, very eminent to me. In addition, as I look at Israel, there's going to be a big transition for Israel also, in which they are going to take out the people. I felt before that Netanyahu has already been replaced, and that is not him there. But that government needs to be told. I mean, they have nuclear missiles and things that need to also be taken out and need to also be dismantled, if you want to call it that. There are many countries around the world that have nuclear missiles that need to be dismantled. And my sense as I'm looking at all of this is that that's going to be the next phase, is the dismantling of all these many nuclear bombs around the world, so that and it's going to be done in a very equal manner, so that there's not one country stronger than another country, so that that country has more, what do you call it, power over everybody else. It's going to be a very equal and a very balanced way in which that happens. Now then, I had something else. This is also where a massive amount of human trafficking has taken place, including the littles, and that has been in the process of being cleared out for quite some time. And this feels like it was also about taking out some of those places in which things like that took place, and which there were other things going on. You know what I mean? So it's everything is tied in together, and there will be information that'll be given to the public. Right now, this is what, Monday. We're doing this on Monday. It's been what, 48 hours, something like that. Right now, I feel as if they're already talking. There's already this communication that goes on, and I honestly feel as if the Ayatollah is going to be removed at the very least within a month, but I feel like it's going to happen this week, if not 2 weeks at the most. And then as he pulls down, then I see a transition happening in Israel. You just saw the big gathering that they had with the other Arabic nations, or the Middle Eastern nations, and that was setting up and confirming alliances, so that as these powers are being dismantled, and these countries being given back to the people that they belong to, they had created a source of foundation, not a foundation because the foundation was there, but a source of a cohesive, co-creative manner, that this would all build on itself, and it would all be for the benefit of all. We've said countless times that this vibration and energy is not compatible with a world war or nuclear bombs or things like that. So let us just be very clear that whatever you may see about all this stuff, remember, the end game is about understanding, for all of humanity to understand, that it has been a very small minority that has had an impact on the whole, and that those people that were driven and greedy and cared only about their own personal greed, that they have been identified and they have been removed. And in doing so, the many, many, many millions of people that have lived in all these countries, that are your good, wonderful people that represent that culture, they're the ones that are coming back in. They're the ones that are stepping up, and they will create the culture that they would like to live within. It's so much of the work has already been done in the background, so the transition will be smooth. I feel this is 100% true for Iran, and I feel like it has also been going on for Israel, but it's like Israel is a little bit more murky to me as I'm looking at that. So maybe they just have more to do. But be aware that peace, balance, and integrity is the way that things are moving towards. And try not to be too concerned when you see some of the stuff that might be written about this. Even so, I just have this strong feeling that people are really understanding the truth behind what is going on, as opposed to just listening to random people. There's lots of people out there just talking that don't really know what they're talking about. And there are many that are following that. However, not to the degree of what it was even 6 months ago, especially versus a year ago. So the change is here. The change is happening. This is the end game of this whole process. So be patient. Continue to send love and light into all of these situations, that the transition is smooth and balanced. Thank you so much. Ansaluia.